Our electoral system is robust. Acts of foreign interference did occur.
Oh boy, buckle up for this one. Welcome back to Moose and Loose. My name's David. Today we've got Mark Carney announcing a bunch of new deputy ministers. With that, there are some alarming choices he's made here. We've got a review that has just come up from the NDP, which is hilarious. Got some other stuff here. Let's jump into this. Starting this one off, let's start with the NDP review. This is absolutely hilarious. They did this big 20-page review of how things went so wrong with the last election, them losing so many seats.
The federal New Democrats have taken stock of the party's devastating 2025 election loss. The party's review and renewal report came out today, which it says outlines a positive path forward as it rebuilds. So what does this report tell us about what went wrong and what the party needs to do to rebuild?
Hey, Karina, essentially this boils down to the reason why the New Democrats had such a devastating outcome in this year's election wasn't for reasons of the party's making. It was totally because and largely because of external factors. So
that's right, not taking accountability for what they did, for hitching their wagon to Justin Trudeau. They're just going to blame external factors. What an absolute joke.
It avoids making any blame, citing blame to Jagmeet Singh, the former leader, or senior party officials, but instead...
So we can just leave it there. This is just a complete clown show.
And like I said, cites external factors.
External factors. It wasn't Jagmeet's fault at all for continually voting in support of Justin Trudeau's awful policies that have destroyed Canada. No, it's not that. What Jagmeet Singh did is one of the worst things in Canadian politics. If the government was taken down a year ago, around the middle of December, when Pierre Poilievre used Jagmeet Singh's own words against him in an Opposition Day motion, we would have had an election. Pierre Poilievre would have won. We likely would have had a deal with Donald Trump. Things would be much better. Our economy would be healing right now. Instead, we've got Mr. Banker rolling out his net zero agenda, not getting a deal and not caring about it. I mean, who cares? It came from Mark Carney's own mouth. But nobody worried. Jagmeet Singh got his pension. I mean, they're even saying it here on the CBC.
Yeah, he probably set the party back a decade. Remember, Alexa McDonough brought the party to Atlantic Canada, Jack Layton to Quebec and other regions. And in every election, Jagmeet Singh made the NDP retreat, not because he was promoting some wild idea that Canadians wouldn't want to sign up on, like Medicare, but because he was just not doing much of anything. And those last 2 years where you support the government, but at every turn you say they're terrible, well, pick a lane here.
Pretty bad when the CBC is roasting the NDP here. It's true, though. Jagmeet Singh just hitched his wagon to Trudeau and just took the party right into the ground. Moving ahead, we got some interesting news here. So we got Rebel News hiring Tamara Lich onto Rebel News, which allows her to get out of her house arrest. She can legally go out and work for Rebel News. This is great news. I like to see this. We've also got Chris Barber here. It found out his truck is not going to be destroyed, so some good news here. In other news, we got Epstein here, a bunch of these files being released. So anytime there's a black square, these are people who are being redacted because they're under 18 years old. There's thousands of these photos. I tried to go through to find Carney in any of them. Instead, what are we finding? Bill Clinton. A whole lot of Bill Clinton. So he does have a bathing suit on here, but Bill Clinton next to someone redacted. Also, Bill Clinton, Ghislaine here, and someone redacted. There's a ton of Bill Clinton in here. Yeah, you're thinking exactly what I'm thinking. And there's almost no Trump photos in here, just a couple of them. So people are saying that they redacted those. There's also pages and pages that are completely solid black redacted. So it's a little ridiculous. It's not exactly transparent what they did here. I understand redacting the under 18, but the full black page redactions are ridiculous. In other news, we've got Volkswagen cancels the ID buzz for 2026 as dealers warn it might be over. More electric vehicles going bust. Moving ahead, we got this bombshell news here. Carney unveils shuffle of deputy ministers in key economic and defense departments. At first, you might be thinking, whatever, deputy ministers, but this is pretty big what he did here. So it lists them all out here, but they've actually got them on the government's website. And here are all the people, the new ones. So here are the outgoing people: Stephane Beck, Annette Gibbons, Sandra Hassan, etc. So these are all people going out. The people coming in, though, are all these people. So now I've already laid these out on the chart, which we have here. So I now have them underneath all of the liberals here. So liberals and then deputy ministers down here. So we're going to fire through these one by one. And we're going to talk about three of these today. So we've got Frances Bilodeau, Associate Deputy Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology; Shalane Curtis Micheleff, Deputy Minister of Health; we got Chris Forbes, Senior Official at the Privy Council Office; Chris Fox, Deputy Minister of National Defense. Who's that? We got Marie-Josie Hogue, as in Justice Hogue is now the Deputy Minister of Justice and Deputy Attorney General of Canada.
Our electoral system is robust. Acts of foreign interference did occur during the last two federal general elections, but they did not undermine the integrity of our electoral system.
Oh, of course. Everything's A-OK. This is the same Justice Hogue who said there's nothing to see here. No problems with the foreign interference inquiry. Now, if you haven't been following the channel for about a year, I did a big story on her back then. And well, what do we have? I've got it laid out here. So Justice Marie-Josie Hogue practiced law at Heenan Blaikie, was a law firm, during the period where Pierre Elliott Trudeau and Jean Chrétien were also associated with the firm. Heenan Blaikie also acted as legal counsel for Justin Trudeau in his connection with the departure from West Point Grey Academy. This is a real thing that happened. All of this. We got Heenan Blaikie, the law firm here. Pierre Elliott Trudeau and Jean Chrétien were both lawyers by training, but they were associated with this law firm as counsel, so non-practicing lawyers. Heenan Blaikie represented Justin Trudeau during his West Point Grey Academy kerfuffle, we'll call it. We've got that here coming from this website called the Niagara Independent. This is an independent news website. As we see the main page here, there's a bunch of people that work here. They have posted this article here. So Justice Hogue was employed by Heenan Blaikie from 1987 to 2014. Pierre Elliott Trudeau was counsel there from 1984 to 2000. Many years of overlap there. Same office. Jean Chrétien was also counsel there. Heenan Blaikie letterhead lists Pierre Elliott Trudeau, Jean Chrétien, and Justice Hogue, which is what we've got down here. Here's the receipts. This is all in French here, but you can see right in the letterhead, we've got Pierre Elliott Trudeau here, Jean Chrétien, and we've got Justice Hogue right down here. So Marie-Josie Hogue, Heenan Blaikie. It's not publicly known whether Justice Hogue worked directly with Pierre Elliott Trudeau or Jean Chrétien, or if they just practiced at the same law firm. But either way, this law firm did represent Justin Trudeau. So it's quite the ties here between all of this. And there's more detail on this on Andrew Haynes' X account, which he's done some excellent work here digging stuff up. This is actually from years ago, 2023. Bringing us back to our list of deputy ministers, this just gets worse. We're just getting started here. So we got Michelle Kova-Sivek, Deputy Minister of Indigenous Services. Let's jump over to the end. We got Bob Wright, Deputy Minister of Labor, Greg Orek-Sack, Deputy Minister of Natural Resources. We got Alison O'Leary, Deputy Minister of Intergovernmental Affairs and Privy Council Office. John MacArthur, Deputy Secretary to the Cabinet Economic Policy Privy Council Office. Now we're going to be talking about this guy. You can see here John MacArthur, Director at the Center of Sustainable Development. So this was his previous job. Senior Fellow, Global Economy and Development. We've got a full write-up here, and I was looking to clip sections of it, and there's just so much information in here that should not be trimmed down. I put the whole thing here. John MacArthur is a Senior Fellow at the Director of the Center of Sustainable Development. It sounds like the kind of guy Mark Carney would want to bring in. His work focuses on generating practical solutions and cooperative approaches across global economies, technology, the environment, and sustainable innovation. He's a co-founder and co-chair of 17 Rooms Initiative, and an innovative approach to catalyzing ideas and action for sustainable development goals. You think this guy hangs out with Mark Carney? Name one person aside from Mark Carney who uses the word catalyzing. Outside of Brookings, he's a member of the Policy Horizon Canada's Deputy Minister Steering Committee and member of Novada's Sustainable Advisory Board. So let's look at the 17 Rooms Initiative. I've got it right here.
Today we're gathering in a meeting called 17 Rooms.
We're meeting here in the Rockefeller Foundation's headquarters in New York.
Oh yeah, the Rockefeller Foundation, of course.
Where we're bringing together about 170 people from around the world who are experts in each of the Sustainable Development Goals. We as a foundation, and particularly through the Bellagio Center, are looking to bring people together.
You can't make this stuff up. Sustainable development, the Rockefellers, it's all nicely wrapped together, isn't it?
They remain, every one of them, they remain crucial for the world.
And the basic idea is to take these 17 different sustainable development goals, connect them to real people and the issues they're working on, and to problem solve what needs to get done in the next 18 months to bend the curve towards success so that we have a better chance to actually achieve those goals.
That's the guy right there. This is the guy Carney's bringing in. This guy created this group that has 17 sustainable development goals. And look at this guy's shirt. You recognize this logo? This is the company. It's not like it's close. This is the company, Sustainable Development Goals for the UN. That's what this program is. You can see here, right on the UN's own website, the 17 goals, as that guy mentioned. This is his company. He is the guy with the colored logo, the Sustainable Development UN circle logo. That's infamous with this. You can't make this stuff up. It's also bizarre. This video we were just looking at is an unlisted video on the Rockefeller Foundation YouTube channel. He's been a senior fellow with the Hong Kong-based Fung Global Institute, taught at Columbia School of International Public Affairs, and served as policy director at Columbia's Earth Institute. This just goes on and on and on. Look at this. He has chaired global agenda councils for the World Economic Forum, and in 2016 was an advisor to the Business and Sustainable Development Commission. He currently serves as a member of the Expert Group of Canada and Future of Development and cooperation as a member of UNICEF's expert advisory panel on fintech and children, and is a participant in Counterpoint's Global Tailwinds Sustainability Working and Academic Group. Mark Carney bringing in his dream deputy here. As I mentioned, for the past couple of months, what have I been saying? Mark Carney is bringing in his A-team. I've got the stars here. We got this one. We haven't talked about this guy yet. Justice Hogue, as well as all these other people on his A-team. Mark Carney doesn't want Trudeau Liberals on his team. He wants to get rid of all of them. So we've also got Isabella Mondu. This is Deputy Clerk of the Privy Council and Associate Secretary to the Cabinet. This is a pretty high position close to Carney too, so maybe in his inner circle. And finally, who do we have here? Nick Leswick, Deputy Minister of Finance. Who is this guy? This one's going to make you heave. So you can see Bank of Canada. Nick Leswick was appointed Executive Director Policy effective January 2024. In this capacity, he was responsible for overseeing the bank's economic and financial sector analysis and research. And right now you're like, well, okay, he's another banker that Mark Carney knows. And sure, you could just say, yeah, he's just another banker. Mark Carney bringing his Goldman Sachs buddies, all his banker buddies from RBC and other places. This is so much worse once we start scrolling down here. Right at the top right, Nick Leswick. He's on this document. What is this? Michael, we've just received the latest number of frozen accounts from the banks. The total is now up to 76 accounts frozen with a mix. I'm getting goosebumps reading this. With a mix of corporate and retail accounts for a total of $3.2 million. We expect the next update will be even higher as the CBA will be receiving data from a larger set of entities, medium and smaller size banks. We'll continue to keep you appraised of any updates. Regards, Julian. This guy, Nick Leswick, was one of the people coordinating between the banks during the Freedom Convoy when they were locking down and freezing Canadians' bank accounts. Unbelievable. This is the guy Mark Carney's bringing in. Looking at the timeline here, right on the government's own website, we've got Nick Leswick here. Department of Finance becomes Associate Deputy Finance Minister effective June 1st, 2021. This guy was an Associate Deputy Minister of Finance, and then he went over to be an Executive Director for Policy in January 2024. Mark Carney bringing him back because he needs one of his right-hand men here, helping coordinating between the banks, locking down, freezing Canadians' bank accounts during the Freedom Convoy. Now, ultimately, this all fell on Justin Trudeau's shoulders. It was his decision. It wasn't like this guy was deciding to freeze bank accounts. He's obviously in the loop there, coordinating on freezing bank accounts. And I should note, this is an access to information request piece of information here, which is not publicly available. This came from none other than Rebel News. Sheila Gunreed, I'm assuming, got an access to information request on this to get this information out of the government. Justin Trudeau was the one who decided to lock down the bank accounts. As ultimately, the buck stopped with him. But who do you think was suggesting this idea to Justin Trudeau? We actually have the answer to that coming from this Globe and Mail article back from February 7th, 2022. And who's this article written by? Contributed to the Globe and Mail by none other than Mark Carney. Mark Carney wrote this article. It's time to end the sedition in Ottawa by enforcing the law and following the money. Mark Carney is an Ottawa resident and former governor of the Bank of Canada and the Bank of England. This is what Mark Carney has to say about Freedom Convoy Canadians. They are not patriots. This is not about restoring freedom, but beginning anarchy. This isn't getting carried away at a rally. It's not a rush of blood to the head. It's deliberate and calculated, and because of that, they must know that from now on, there will be consequences for their actions. He goes on to say here, those who are still helping to extend this occupation must be identified and punished to the full extent of the law. What do you think he means by that? Don't worry, he says more here. But by now, anyone sending money to the convoy should be in no doubt. You are funding sedition. Foreign funders of an insurrection interfered in our democratic affairs from the start. Canadian authorities should take every step within the law to identify and thoroughly punish them. This is the words of Mark Carney, our current Prime Minister. The involvement of foreign governments and any officials connected to them should be identified, exposed, and addressed. I know from experience that crisis out of a failure. You must recognize the scale of the challenge, devise a clear plan, and then implement it. Do so can never be in doubt. Then and only then can order be restored. In this case, that means individuals must be held responsible for their lawlessness, and those who finance their actions must be dissuaded from ever doing so again. Thanks, Mark Carney. Thanks for the article here. We obviously know where your stance is on freezing bank accounts, considering you brought in a guy who helped coordinate this with the banks, Nick Leswick. This is Mark Carney's A-team that he's bringing in. He wants more of his people and he wants less of Trudeau's people. I should note too, this guy's had an RBC logo here. This is Bank of Canada. He's worked with the RBC, but has never worked for the RBC. Bank of Canada. So over time here, I'll research the rest of these people, but I think that's enough for us to chew on for one day. Canada is not in good shape right now. Jumping away from the House of Commons, we'll take a breather here and just calm down with a good old-fashioned jewelry store smash and grab.
Come, baby. Come.
I promise there is one good moment of this video.
Come. Go. I know. Just take a breath. It's okay, Mom.
So it looks like there's at least 4 of these guys. Okay, so we've got 2 of them running away and then 2 more are going to hang out over here. And you're going to see a guy on the left side come in with some sort of tire iron, like some old guy. And he's going to wallop one of these guys so hard that he nearly spooks the soul right out of his body. See this guy over here? Maybe it's a cane. I think this is a solid metal rod, whatever this thing is.
They sprayed him in the face. Security guard.
Okay, so this is whatever the guy's holding here, and they're saying they sprayed the security guard probably with mace right in the face. And look at this guy here. He's about to get something he deserves.
Oh my God.
One more time for good measure.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I'm not exactly sure what that thing is, but you can see his reflex. I'm sure that didn't feel good. This is an easy problem to fix. All you have to do is let these jewelry stores be able to have a pew-pew behind the desk. They start doing that, just pew-pew in the leg, problem solved. Like, this is not rocket science how to fix this.